Make sure you get your tetanus shot before you unbox one of these. They didn't even, well, they just slapped some spray paint on it and called it. Well, that didn't really want a thread on there. A little collar on the plug. It was on this shaft and quite a bit of backlash in that. Let's see what the directions tell us. Directions tell us almost nothing. Kind of like a monkey trying to figure something out. Hey guys, Carlos here with Tac One Fab. What I got for you is an unboxing video on this VEVOR brand or Amazon brand welding positioner. I've always wanted one of these. I can't justify the cost for a US made one, which I haven't seen one cheaper than like $1,200. This one came in, I think, at $530. Ship weight on this thing is like 93 pounds. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was. They make two versions on Amazon. One's smaller and one's the next size up. This is the 30 kilogram version. I thought I probably should get the bigger one. Yeah, like I said, I've always wanted one of these. I've tried to make one on my own, but I've learned the motor controls and speed controls on the little DC motors with gear reduction are a little bit tricky to do on your own. So I decided to just go ahead and pull the trigger and buy one. So let's get into it. Hopefully this goes well. Although the way it showed up, I don't really have a whole lot of faith that everything inside is intact. And whatever's inside, it's not packed very well because you can tell it's been rolled around and it's loose inside of there. So well, that's what it looks like inside. It's definitely not, well, it does look like it's bolted down to the bottom of the box. I see a bolt, but everything else is sort of loose in there. So let's see. We'll try to get this taken out. So the typical very thin owner's manual. Power cord, foot pedal, and it looks like in order to get, so it looks like they had it bolted down and they only had it bolted down in two spots. Looks like it ripped up one of the bolts, so there's one bolt left holding it to the bottom of the crate. Get a drill, an extension. Yeah, that was it. Looks like it was loose. Other than that, I can already tell you the pictures on the website do not do the size of this thing justice. Small bag of nuts and bolts and fittings, looks like. Yeah, they definitely had, I tried to bolt it down in a couple of spots, but it didn't survive the trip. And you can see some of it busted through the side here. It slammed around and busted through the side on this side. And the foot over here busted through the crate on the bottom. So, wish me luck. Hopefully this thing works. Look at that thing. That thing's huge. Try to offer some different perspective here. Tape measure. Here we go. So height to the top of this platen, set up in horizontal, it's 16 inches. This big overall platen is about 12.5. This chuck is about 8 inches total. Well, that's kind of interesting. So that's how that thing opens and closes. I'm assuming these are reversible like a regular lathe chuck, but I'm not sure. And here's your mechanism for, look, it goes past horizontal, it's going to hit this wheel. The opposite direction would be your, or I guess what I meant to say is it goes past vertical and that'll hit this wheel. The opposite direction, I guess, would be your horizontal. I'm sure they have a little handle that goes in here. So far this thing's pretty impressive. It's a heck of a lot bigger than I imagined it would be. So if you need something that's tiny for really small, lighter parts, I think you probably want to go with the other one. This is pretty easy to turn. There's quite a bit of backlash in this. There's just this little, looks like a rack and pinion basically right here that is on this shaft, and quite a bit of backlash in that. So that could be better, but I think it's a get what you pay for kind of thing. Here's that backlash. You can see the rack right here and the pinion. Nasty oil or cosmoline or whatever they put on all these tools. You know what I'm talking about. If you bought anything at Harbor Freight or any of these imported tools, they put that stuff on everything. And I would imagine they do it to keep it from rusting and while it's sitting in a container ship. Man, this thing is heavy. Turn it around so you can see this side. Now, from what little I know or seen of it, this side here is where the control box hangs off of on these pins here. And it looks like, let's see if I can turn this. There you go. Looks like there's a bit of damage on the motor here. There's like a powder coating on the motor case, and it looks like there's a bit of damage there. I don't know if that's probably from one of these either this box, which is the control box, or this other steady rest that comes with it, moving around or jumping around in the package on its way over here. Yep, this is definitely damaged. Like a dent in there. Nothing's shaking around in there. Clear dent right here. This was definitely jostled around or moving around in there. A little dent there in the corner there. Bent down right in there. So I think this hangs right there. Let's see what the directions tell us. Directions tell us almost nothing. Front panel, labels. Control panel tells you what plug goes to what, even though it's clearly marked on the back of this one. And then it tells you what your lights are to do, your switches, drop lock. Oh, drop lock. I wonder if that will take the backlash out of the platen. There's a troubleshooting guide. Illustration of control of the PCB adjustment. So I guess there's some sort of a timer mechanism on here that's in these switches, and I haven't found a whole lot of information about it, but I guess you can set this up like this. Has even got a little crack in it, this little door on here. Well, I guess we better stop talking and plug this thing in and see if it actually works. On the back of the control box, it's labeled. Well, that didn't really want a thread on there. A little collar on the plug. That's no go. Well, that's hung up something. Nope. That ain't gonna thread on there. Okay, moving on. We got the motor. See if this one threads. Oh yeah, that one threads on there, no problem. Now there's a plug here for the welder. I don't know what, maybe that's a signal of some kind. I don't know why you would attach your welder via a cord to the back of this control box. Oh, yeah, I'll bet you, yeah, this one's got, it's a 4-port plug, or 4-pin plug. I bet you what that's what this little pigtail is for. I bet you there's a way when you pull the trigger or hit the pedal on your welder, you can get a signal output from it and go into here, and it will activate the positioner and start rolling or start moving. I bet you that's what that's for. If I were to guess. Man, this thing is heavy. So if you wanted something that was portable, this is portable, but it's not light, I can tell you that. I'm gonna put this little handle on for the, there we go. That's kind of handy. It swivels on, the handle swivels there on the wheel so you can rotate it faster. All right, plug this sucker in. Let's see if it works. All right, see if this thing works. There's a reset button. I don't know what the lock button does. Power. So this is counting up for some reason. I don't know why it's doing that. Counts up to 11.10 and stops. So we're on foot control. This is forward and reverse, or this is your reversing switch. And this, I assume, is your speed. Oh, I see. So you got to hold, in this setting, you got to hold the switch or the foot switch down to keep it rotating. There's your speeds. So it's stopped. Pretty quiet. I don't know what to expect really, or what I expected, but it's quiet. So I guess the lock, maybe that means momentary switch. Nope. I don't know what the lock is for. Pilot, power, auto. Let's turn the power off, turn the auto on. So auto, it just came on and then it stopped. Auto must have something to do with this timer. So we'll have to figure that out. The foot switch thing, I don't care for that because I'd like you to be able to click it for on, click it for off. But you know what? I guess if you're TIG welding, you're multifunctional anyway, or multi-dimensional anyway. So you're using your foot, your hands. Now we just got to use the other foot too, I guess. Wonder if there's a way to set up just an on-off. I don't know, probably overthinking it. So let's look at this. We've got a bag of screws for something. If you're willing to bet this bag of screws got something to do with this, which is a steady rest for welding on. Make sure you get your tetanus shot before you unbox one of these. They didn't even deburr this or nothing. This is sharp as a razor blade right here on the end of this little piece of channel. Well, they just slapped some spray paint on it and called it good. Not shocked though. And this little piece. So what do we do with this little piece? Oh, finite adjustment on this little rack here. Look at that. Look at that, that's kind of cool. Kind of like a monkey trying to figure something out. Oh, I see. So this in here's got a rack on it too. That goes into this. There's a channel on the tube that comes with it. Or this has got a, oh, this is the rack, this is the pinion, dumb. Okay. Get this out of the way. Open this up a little bit. Sure there's a method to this madness, but this goes in here like so. Oh, this little guy bolts onto here. Perfect. Okay. Turn this sucker back around. Let's see. Can't imagine. I guess maybe the top of this thing weighs a bunch, but I can't imagine why this thing would be so heavy. Must be this platen on the top. And use this as a steady rest. You could put that just about anywhere you wanted, really. There's a place for you to clamp a tube on here. You could use that as your steady rest. You could have it over here, use it as your steady rest. This thing, you'd have to rotate it back into here. Could have it something like that, I suppose. A little rack and pinion there. Tighten everything up once you get it in position. Infinite adjustability here with this little rack. Tighten that up. Tighten up your bolts on the back of the razor sharp piece of angle iron. Then you have a piece of tubing coming out here and steady rest. You get the idea. Maybe over here. I don't know. That's kind of cool. So there you go. Unboxing of the VEVOR brand or Amazon brand 30 kilogram welding positioner. This one has the 33 pound vertical capacity or 66 pound horizontal capacity. Check back for a review. Hopefully I get to using this here soon. Thanks for watching.